So this truck behind me is a 2002 Dodge Ram 2500 24 valve Cummins, and like most other Cummins of this era, it likes to mark its territory. And I could do the easy thing of trying to figure out where it's coming from, most likely tappet cover, which I'm pretty positive that's where it is. Or I can do what I'm going to do, and that is tear the entire motor out, reseal the whole thing, and add head studs. Maybe a couple other upgrades, all depends on what we find when we're in there. I'm going to tear it down pretty much to a short block, and I figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride. So, I'm not going to talk much more. I'm going to flip you around, show you the motor a little bit, and I'm going to get to work because I need this thing out of here and I need it sold. So, here we go. .24 valve Cummins. Pretty oily. Not as bad as some of them that I've seen. It's a little worse down there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but very oily down there. I think what I'm going to start off doing is getting this front bar off, get the radiator out, get the intercooler out, AC condenser, all that good stuff. Gonna get it all out of the way. That way when I go to pull the motor, I can pretty much come straight out instead of trying to lift up and out. I may even take fenders off. So, like I said, I'm just going to get to work. I'm going to start off by emptying radiator and then just going to start pulling it. So, here we go. All right, so I've got the coolant draining down there, as you can hear. Like I said, I'm going to start off with getting this bar off. I'm going to try to pull everything out this way. I want to get this off as, I guess, pretty much easily as possible. So, I'm going to grab a couple tools, put that there. I think the radiator is mostly drained out, but after looking at this, obviously, so after looking at this, as you can see, I got the front bar off. That was easy. I think I'm gonna remove the bumper, which that may be fun because it does have a I think it's a Boss snowplow mount on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and figure that out. Probably gonna cut it out because it's gonna be a pain in the ass. But I think it's gonna help out quite a bit. So here we go. as you can see, radiator's out, intercooler's out, condenser, transmission cooler, all that good stuff. Fought with it for quite a while. I really think I think you're supposed to remove the bumper in order to get the intercooler out. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm probably just going to beat those in just a little bit because it was so close. So I guess next thing I'm going to do is get all the wiring off the motor and I guess go from there. Okay, so this is probably where I'm going to call it for the day. It is extremely hot. I do have the fan going in between, but it is roasting. Yeah, it's hot as hell. But I got 90-ish, 75-ish% of it taken off. So now I can actually show you. It is leaking from like everything. So especially over here. So a couple of pointers if you're ever doing this. I spent probably a good 30-45 minutes trying to get the wiring that goes across the front here, down back to the AC compressor, all that shit taken off, including over here. Right? Well, if I would have just looked up a tiny bit, I would have seen that there's a disconnect right there. And it looks like all that will stay with the motor now. But got fuel lines disconnected back there. I got them pushed over there. So I'm thinking the only thing I have left is to disconnect the transmission, torque converter, all that good stuff. And then exhaust, I am going to soak these bolts. I'm also going to soak those just in case. But I don't have high hopes for those coming out. So I will pick this back up whenever I get back in here, which will probably be tomorrow or next day. So, yeah. So it is the next day. A lot cooler. It actually rained today, which was quite nice. Believe it or not, I was actually able to get those exhaust bolts out. They don't look very good, so I'm probably going to get new ones. But they came out without snapping, which is nice. I also went ahead and got all the transmission bolts out and the torque converter bolts. I don't know if you can see it down there, but there is an opening right there. You take the two 10mm bolts off and you can spin it around. I spun it around with the alternator bolt. And if you're doing it, you got to go counterclockwise. Otherwise, if you go clockwise, it just spins the pulley. Or you can turn around with crank bolts, whichever one you want. Anywho, I believe I have everything unhooked. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm about 50%. So I guess it is the wonderful time of playing What Did I Forget? So I'm going to push this back. I got a bolt there because I'm missing the rear hanger, and I'm going to put a chain on it. I think it's still got the one. Yeah, I still got this one up here, so that's nice. But put a chain on it, find my engine hoist, which I believe, yep, is right there. And I guess I'm going to attempt to pull this out. Oh, another thing I forgot. If you have an automatic, you have a transmission heater right there. And it looks like, I may be completely wrong about this, but it looks like only the rear line actually goes with the transmission. The front one looks like it comes up and connects to one of these, one of the transmission cooler lines. So, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna get this pushed back, get a chain on it, and get you all reset and attempt to pull this. Put the chain on there, and the engine's hoist put in. Well, I may actually need to take the bumper off. Alright, well, I'm going to do that real quick. Okay. We are back, and without a bumper. Ended up stripping out a couple more bolts, but I was able to get them off without the bracket. So, like this bracket's loose, that one is not. So I'm probably going to end up having to cut a bolt off of that one. Alright. Let's put some tension on it. Might have to take a link out. Still got a little bit to go on. We did separate from the transmission, so that's good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take these bolts out of the engine mounts all the way because I think they're getting stuck. So, alrighty, let's try this again. So, we got this motor out of the O2. I'm going to get this adapter plate and the flex plate off. That way I can mount it up to my engine stand. I do have a 2,000 pound one, so hopefully it'll hold it up. In order to do that, I think the starter will come off with the adapter. So, I'm going to go ahead and do that, get to work, get this done, because I do need to pressure wash this. I want to get all the wiring and shit off of it, and computer, I don't trust pressure washing and all that, and then we'll get started with the teardown. Got the engine stand on. Engine hoist is loose, so I'm gonna leave it hooked up overnight just in case. First time using this, as you can see. So it feels decently sturdy. Like, it feels about like that one when I had the Hemi on it. So I don't know. Well, I'm probably going to end this tonight. Like I said, I'm going to leave this overnight. Leave the engine hoist attached to it just in case. And then I'm going to clean up my floor because my wife is very upset since we walked through here to get to our vehicles. So I'm going to maneuver this probably over there. And I'll pick it back up when I come in to start tearing this motor apart. Okay, so next day. It's Kinda got the floor a little cleaner. Not big any puddles or anything on the floor except for right here, which I don't. Oh, obviously, power steering is where it's leaking from. So I am going to get the computer off, all the wiring, and then I am going to pressure wash this thing. As you can see, a lot better now. It is filthy. So, doesn't look like rear main was leaking, which is a good thing. But it is peeling, like all the paint's coming off of it. And it's leaking from who knows where, honestly. But like I said, I'm pretty sure tappet cover was leaking. I'm assuming just because of that there, the front gear case is leaking, which I do have a new gasket for that. So obviously we're going to be pulling the cam out so that way we can get that out. This side, not as bad, but honestly not as many things to leak over here. So doesn't look like valve cover was leaking too bad. It is a little wet up there just because I did spray it down with some degreaser because I was going to pressure wash it in the truck. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not brave enough to do that. So probably going to remove the alternator as well. But anything that I think could possibly be damaged with water, which I know they're meant to... it's a reman, so it's got a newer alternator. But anything that I think could be damaged with the water, I'm going to go ahead and remove. And left it overnight, and that's still loose. So it's definitely holding. Still don't fully trust it, but trust it a lot more now. So, all right, I'm gonna get you all set up and get this torn apart. It's somewhat the way I want it. Plugged off the vacuum, plugged off power steering, which I don't think that's gonna really matter. Alright, this has been sitting for a minute. I'm gonna get it pulled out here. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna remove the cherry picker. Let's get you guys a little closer. It is not perfect by any means, but it is, I'd say, a hell of a lot better. Like, there's still some spots like here and obviously here and there that I'm gonna have to go over when I get it mostly taken down, not out. But like, this is just like, I'm scraping that with my fingernail and it's barely coming off. So try to get some window cleaner, but yeah, it is a lot better. And then, like, back of power steering pump, gonna have to take that off, clean it, probably gonna rebuild the vacuum pump. But yeah, it is a lot better. Yeah, you can see where tappet cover, the seal is cracked. Yeah, and that is hard as could be. It is a lot better. Now me, I am going to go get cleaned up and pick all this shit up. Probably pick some tools up, get this put in there, let it dry off some more, and then I will pick it up when start tearing it down. Alright, I'm gonna start tearing some stuff off of here. I think first thing I'm gonna do, I think I might start with getting the turbo off. I'm gonna grab some wrenches. turbo and exhaust manifold off. Surprisingly, have not broken a bolt, so I really hope that continues. It looks like these freeze plugs are new. So, honestly, so far, not looking awful. More scaling. But, yeah, for the most part, everything's going pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and start working on this side. Yeah. We got rockers off, all the bridges, push rods, all that good stuff. This is another thing of what I was talking about. All of them have the paint marking on them. So I'm wondering if somebody's done work on this motor before and they had it off just to make sure everything was spinning correctly. But like I was saying, it is pretty clean inside here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these crossover tubes out. And then get injectors pulled. And then we will go from there. Alright. I don't have the puller for it, but I'm gonna try. Cool. Cool. That's all of them. These put over there. These look really good. Well, better than I would expect for being a, if they were a factory from 2002. Yeah, it's stamping on them. Might run the number and see if they're factory. Okay, you got, it'll focus, those on the injectors, which I'm thinking they're factory injectors. Just the O-rings on them look fantastic. Brass on the bottom looks really good as well. That's really clean. And then so I'm thinking this is a replacement motor, or it's had a rebuild on it. Ignore how dirty that one is. That had water in it from when I pressure washed it. But every cylinder has beautiful cross hatching on it. So, I don't know. What do you think? Since I don't really know how to time it, which Yeah, I could look it up and lie to you guys. Be like, oh, this is how you do it. Anyway, marked out where the keyway is. Put VP for the VP44. Marked 3, 1 for the vacuum, and 2 for the crank. And I also marked them all. As you can see, I don't think the oil pump matters. I don't think I'm going to remove it either, so that should be fine. But this way I know for a fact I'm going to be getting it back exactly where it's supposed to be. So that's how I've done a lot of vehicles, and it's always worked out. So hopefully this isn't the one time that it doesn't work. Alrighty, I'm gonna be honest, it's been a day or two since the last time I recorded, and I really do not remember what the last thing was. I think I was showing you the injectors and rockers and then cross-hatching on the cylinders, which, yes, I'm aware it's a diesel, but still I was amazed because this truck says it's supposed to have about 300,000 miles on it, and cross-hatching is beautiful. So, I do remember that I was trying to get the pump off and the vacuum pump, and my phone ran out of memory, so got those taken off. Swinging around over here. Did find out that got a broken tooth on the vacuum pump, and it's cracked quite a bit around this mating surface for the case. So I'm probably going to get a new one of those just because I really don't know how to do all of it. And I looked it up, and a rebuild kit for one's like $70 and a brand new one off Rock Auto is like 130-ish. So I'm going to do that. That came off, no issue. Might get a new power steering pump, might reseal this one, just depending on how much one is. But I'm gonna get you set back up over here. Gonna get the tappet cover off. Gonna drain the oil, and there we go. Yeah, gonna drain the oil and get the motor flipped over. Get the oil pan off. And then get the cam out. Cam looks good. Here we go.
least from what I'm seeing. See it better when we get it out. I don't see anything that's broken or chipped or anything. And the motor ran pretty decent. Over here, like I said, it looks decent. It's got some water in it, but I'm thinking that's from when I pressure washed it. So, well, I guess I keep moving forward. I'm gonna go ahead and pull a cam. Pickup looks good. Yeah, I don't see any clogs or anything in it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the cam out. Else on this motor is like 10 mil and 13, 15, all that, like everything else is a normal. But then case has Torx. How does that make any sense? All right, T40 it is. Showed you timing cover or gear cover, whatever you want to call it. Looking down in here, all the tappets look to be in good shape. All this looks good. But cam looks really good. Anyway, I don't know if like all this paint stuff is factory or not, but I'm thinking not. But cam lobes look really good. I don't see any excessive wear. I don't see any burn marks. So, like that one's probably the worst out of all of them, which you aren't picking it up on the camera. So, that being said, went ahead and pulled out all the gaskets and everything that I get. So, head gasket, valve cover gasket with grommets, plenum, tappet cover. This is a timing cover kit for the back of the gear case. And then these are exhaust and turbo. And then everything else that I forgot to order because I wasn't planning on pulling the motor out when I first started this. Vacuum pump, power steering pump or rebuild kit, oil pan gasket, water pump gasket, rear main seal, pickup tube, valve spring seals, freeze plug kit, just to be safe. They look good, but I just want to be safe. And then dipstick, and then maybe oil filter housing gasket and water pump, depending on how much they are. Might throw them in there, but yeah. I don't know if I showed this in the beginning, but dipstick is in there, and it's kind of short, so I have to pick up a whole tube and everything. I don't know. So I guess this is probably where I'm going to end this video. All right, so this is probably where I'm going to leave this video off. I'm going to go ahead and order everything else. Like I just showed, all those gaskets and all the other stuff that I need. So if you guys have made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Go ahead and leave a comment, leave a suggestion, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I'm literally just going through as what I would do for a gas motor. Seems to be going okay. I haven't broke anything, which is a good thing. So, like I said, leave a like, leave a comment, I'll respond. And thank you all for watching. You have a great day.